Hi guys.
Okay guys, so here you see one of these little fucking buggers. They eat through the leaves, they eat the roots. Yeah, you can see another one popping out its head from the soil. There were I counted about 12 or 15 of them. They eat through the husk of the seed, any fertilizer.
What you just seen was fungus gnats. That's a fungus gnat larvae. They were feeding on my rather beautiful seedlings that I just planted. My cilantro or coriander or dania. These are some of them that just got saved apparently. And what they essentially did, as you've seen in the video, they ate away. At the beginning of the day, plant your head, leaves, and was sitting upright in my germination container, and now it's got no roots and got no leaves. They destroyed, I'd say, 50% of my crop already. Horrendous. Okay, so what are they? You find them indoors or most indoor plants. They are the larvae that hatches from eggs that are laid by fungus and gnats. Small little annoying flies that you'll see them. They don't really bite. They lay about 300 eggs, roughly about 300 eggs in the first 1 to 2 inches of the soil, and those eggs hatch. Those larvae then go on to eat whatever organic matter is in the soil, and that includes a living or decaying matter, whether they be detritus or not, and also further on, if you have roots, if your plant has a lot of roots, they eat your living roots. They eat the roots that are still alive. They eat your plant from inside out. It's the first time I'm experiencing fungus gnat larvae. Where did I get this from? Okay, so I bought a plant, and this plant, no matter how much I took care of it, it just never wanted to grow, and all of a sudden it was dying off, and I couldn't understand why. Whether I was putting too much water, whether I was putting too much sunlight, it got to a point where I thought to myself, no, maybe it's the sun. Because this is such a frail and fragile plant. It's so frail, it's so fragile. The sun was boiling the plant from inside out. So that was my first conclusion, that it boiled the plant, it boiled the roots inside the pot plant. Because the sunlight gets quite harsh and the temperatures get quite harsh. I don't know if the soil was infected before I purchased the plant. I don't know if perhaps there were eggs laid in the soil before I purchased the plant, because I've never had anything of the sort prior to this. Also, what I did is, when that plant died, I took out that soil. I didn't sterilize the soil. I took the soil and I split it in two. I took some of the soil, I put it in this container, and I took some of the soil, I put it in another container. So I suspect another container is just as infected as this one, and that's horrendous. So I'm going to go this. I'm going to see if I can find out which of the containers actually contain some of these fungus fly larvae. How to get rid of it? Of course, this only affects indoor plants. Outside, the first 1 or 2 inches of soil gets sterilized by the sunlight every day. It's called solarization, and that basically sterilizes the soil from all eggs or larvae, because the soil gets up to such a temperature. And here, indoors, the soil doesn't get up to that temperature at all. So those flies, they just lay eggs, and those larvae eat the things and just hatch. It's a continuous cycle. It's a vicious cycle. So some people say you put mosquito bits. Some people say you spray the soil with neem oil. Some people say use a fly trap. What I'm going to be doing is, I'm going to be utilizing all these seedlings. I'm not going to germinate them again. These are now, I don't know if the eggs are laid on the seeds, on the seedling itself. I don't know if the eggs are laid on parts of the soil that's on the roots itself. So I'm going to use all the seedlings as compost, and I'm going to use the fly larvae itself as compost. So what I'm going to do is I boiled a kettle. So I'm just going to drop some some boiling water on the soil. I'm going to sterilize the soil, and I'm going to mix the soil with some new soil. Hopefully there won't be any more fungus gnats. That's how I sterilize my soil, and then of course it's round 2 for cilantro. Really hoping that the same is not going to happen. Also, while my kettle is warm, I'm going to find the other soil that seems to be infected. I don't think it's as I don't think the other soil is as infected, because I grew out seedlings in that one and nothing happened to those seedlings. So let's see how we go. I'm going to try this for a second time. Hopefully this has now got rid of the fungus gnat problem. Unless it's the smell of coriander that attracts fungus gnats. I'm not really sure. Possibly. But yeah. Thanks guys, thanks for watching. Make sure to like, share, subscribe, and stay tuned for the next one.